Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Friday. Hey, baby, how's it going?
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing good. Got an interesting study here, though. It says, a new study says people over the age of 60 are becoming more liberal at a faster rate than ever before. Ugh. New study suggests that the popular belief about older people being more conservative isn't necessarily always true. Research found that as people pass the age of 60, they're becoming more and more tolerant and more liberal these days. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know what's causing that. Think it's social media?
I have no idea.
I know you get in some arguments with people on social media about politics.
Yeah, I do.
I try to just steer clear of politics altogether. Therefore, we'll change the subject
and talk
about.
politics.
I know you do, but you like to rile people up.
I
so
do.
We're not doing that.
I really do.
According to a new survey, we're going to be talking about something here about French people and how much time they spend sleeping. We're going to chat all about that on the way. It is a Friday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com.
If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. So what do you have to lose? And if you're buying an RV, you got to find the great deals at RVWheelator.com.
Now back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
A little bit ago, we almost talked about politics, but that's a dangerous subject. So I dodged that, and we're going to talk about sleeping instead. According to a new survey by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the average French person spends 8 hours and 50 minutes sleeping, getting almost an hour more shut-eye than citizens from other nations like Japan and Korea. At 8 hours and 30 minutes, the United States comes in at number 2. We get more sleep than most. The country that gets the most sleep is France, then us.
Huh.
So I can't believe that we came in number 2. On average, because I know a lot of people that don't get a lot of sleep.
You don't get a lot of sleep.
Well, I know. I'm on social media late at night, and I see other people on there, so I'm assuming they're up too.
Last night I was up. I was up at like
middle of the night,
2:30 in the morning, and came down here and was on the computer for a while. I rolled over in bed and put my knee out, so I had to get up and walk around. You know you're in bad shape when you roll over in bed and your knee goes out of place.
That's your problem. Coming up, we're going to head to France and talk about some prisoners that walked out of prison. Interesting story. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Interesting story here from France. Some prisoners, 3 French prisoners, escaped through the door of their jail cell when wardens fell for a fake fax and release.
I was thinking maybe the wardens were sleeping. And
a little bit ago we talked about France as the country that gets the most sleep, but no, there was an official piece of stationery. The fax ordered the release of these prisoners. It was signed by the magistrate investigating them on charges of attempted extortion and illegal possession of firearms. Prison officials were so sure the fax was real that they didn't even check the number from which it was sent or contacted the judge to confirm that he wanted the prisoners freed.
Wow.
As it turns out, it was sent from the jail, and it was not from the judge. It was from the prisoners.
Those Wesley Webbits.
Yeah, they sent themselves a fax and said, hey, I got this official fax here. You guys might want to let us go now.
I wonder if those people still have their jobs.
Who? I don't know. I doubt
let them go.
Yeah, they just said,
okay.
Oh, this looks mighty official.
Have a nice day.
Should we call somebody? Nah. This is one of the things that I will tell you. A little bit of confidence goes a long ways.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
I'm not condoning this type of behavior, but I worked at a place I lived in a community where there was a guy that stole a big screen TV from the mall.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Here's how he did it. He walked
in. Should we really be giving people this tip?
I'm just saying. He walked in and said he was
Let's
there
not.
to get it.
That's a bad idea.
But it was
not.
a tiny, he was confident. Nobody even checked to see if he was really with the company. He said, I'm here to pick up this TV, and he walked off with a TV. And then later, when the real people came to get it, they're like, we gave it to some other guy like a week ago. So, that's kind of what these French prisoners did. They're like, yeah, we're supposed to be released now. According to what? This fax in my hands? Well, of course you are. Let me get the jail cell. All right, we've got your brain on drugs coming your way in just a bit.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. The Dominion Post reports that a man in Carterton, New Zealand, pled guilty on drug possessions after he attempted to invent a new form of currency.
Oh.
He wanted to cure his munchies by buying some M&Ms and a bag of potato chips at a convenience store, but he was a little short on cash. So he asked the clerk if he could pay with marijuana instead.
Oh.
We'll never know the answer because he hadn't noticed there was a policeman standing right behind him.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, right behind him in line. So it's like, yeah, dude, I don't have any money, but I got some marijuana.
I got the munchies, and I
Will you
really
take that
need this.
instead? And the officer's like, hey, I'll take that, and I'll take you to jail. Yeah. This has been your brain on drugs. Don't do that.
God.
Coming up, we've got your moment of duh. Thank you so much for listening to a Friday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Playing with others doesn't usually mean going to a cemetery in order to find a playmate, but Neil J. Goodwin Jr., already doing community work in a cemetery after being convicted of breaking and entering, somehow came up with a brilliant idea of having fun at the cemetery by kicking in a thin marble entrance to a tomb marked 1863. He then twisted off the spine, collarbone, and skull, and then played with the bones, balancing the skull on his shoulders and posing for photos. Yeah, that's not a smart thing to do.
No.
According to Lieutenant Richard Samesko of the Newsbury Police Department, he said, this is a whole new level of weird. I can't even imagine what was going through his head.
A whole new level of weird.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to start using that.
This is a whole new level of weird.
A whole new level of weird.
We've had a whole new level of weird this whole week, so I'm not surprised by
anything at all. It's been a crazy roller coaster.
But that was your moment of duh right there. And Neil Goodwin Jr., you have a whole new level of weird. Your scoop of the day is on the way next.
The John and Heidi Show podcast is brought to you by DirecTV.
They have big-time savings going on right now, so you can sign up and save. Get all the details at 1-800-259-7646.
Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com.
Quite possibly the best way to buy an RV or to sell an RV. They're like a realtor for your RV. Check out RVWheelator.com.
And the Dollar Shave Club.
Get amazing razors for $1 a month, and for a few bucks more, they'll bring them right to your door.
Sign up today at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Now, your scoop of the day. Emil Nodal bought a chest at an estate sale for $100. I'm sure we read this story before. Positive we have. He discovered He discovered something much more valuable inside. It was full of rings and diamonds and gold.
And he returned
it.
Yes,
I just remembered the name Emil Nodal. I asked you a minute ago. I said Emil Nodal.
I didn't remember the name, but when you said the chest at the thing, I remembered.
I was like, well, for those of you that don't know, he went to a sale, bought a chest for $100, opened it up. It was filled with rings and diamonds and gold and all kinds of stuff. He went back in and said, I bought the chest. I think all of this belongs to you. Hats off, Emil Nodal, once again. I just love saying his name. I'm gonna sneak that story in again in another week or two.
Sounds like a Jim Henson Muppet.
It kind of does.
Right?
Yeah, Emil Nodal. I bet he has a great voice. Hi-ho, Emil Nodal here. A burglar accused of ransacking homes in China while wearing what he called his lucky jacket was caught during a police stakeout. Apparently the jacket's not that lucky. A new survey by cableco.uk shows 1 in 3 people would rather lose a finger than lose their broadband connection. So,
I would
you rather
lose a finger. I would rather lose my internet.
I'd go for no internet rather than. I'll keep my fingers. You keep your internet.
I can't even watch on movies when people get their hands hurt.
Just don't
or
even
their fingers smashed or anything.
No, let's not talk about
Casino,
it.
In the part where they haul them in the back room and bash their hands up.
Moving on.
It's awful.
A Pennsylvania man is accused of using his 9-year-old daughter as a ploy to collect money for Girl Scout cookies that he never ordered or delivered. Cody Patrick Wiley and his daughter allegedly took door-to-door cookie orders from as many as 100 people in his own neighborhood. So, there you go.
Oh.
It's getting Girl Scout cookie money, but not cookies.
Yeah, that's going to be an awkward...
Yeah. And those are darn good
neighborhood
cookies.
picnic.
Wait a minute. Did you get my cookies? I don't. Nobody got cookies. Japanese researchers have discovered the perfect way to eat a hamburger. You know how it is?
How's that?
Experts in fluid mechanics, engineering, and density say thumbs and pinkies on the bottom, middle 3 fingers on the top, uniformly spread, help keep the burger together at all times. That is weird to even try.
I cannot even imagine trying to
Thus keeping
make
the
that
contents
happen.
from mushing out preemptively. So, holding, that's not how I do it. A thumb on the bottom and the rest of the fingers on the top.
Me too. I can't even imagine
It
trying to hold a
doesn't
burger
last
that way.
long enough for it to matter anyway. We're going to have burgers for
We
lunch.
lick our plate anyway, so it really doesn't matter if it falls on the plate.
A recent study says New York City produces 1% of the country's greenhouse gas emissions and as much as the entire country of Ireland or Portugal. So just New York City as much as Ireland and Portugal when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions. Is that from?
Is
what's
that
that
bad?
from? Is that from cars? I don't know. Or is it? Do they have that many greenhouses? I don't think greenhouses actually put out gas, do they? All right. Turns out ice cream really can help you get pregnant. What? Ben and Jerry or Haagen-Dazs might help you get pregnant, but not in the usual way. A study suggests a diet rich in ice cream and other high-fat dairy foods could lower the risk of one of the types of infertility. Some doctors say it sounds too good to be true, and it probably is. So they're saying, hey, if you want to get pregnant, eat a lot of ice cream.
And that would be a double-edged sword anyway, because if you eat too much ice cream, you're going to gain weight, and ain't nobody coming near you. So,
Or they'd be like, are you pregnant? And look, I just look pregnant. I've been doing this ice cream trick. Hasn't worked out so well. But thanks for noticing. All right. Are you ready for your strange law?
Yeah.
This has been the weirdest scoop of the day so far. Strange law. In Chicago, it is illegal to go fishing in your pajamas. Why you would be fishing in your pajamas in the first place, I don't know. So it is illegal to go fishing while wearing pajamas, I think, not actually doing the fishing inside the pajamas. I'm not sure. But that is your weird law, and that is how we like to wrap up our scoop of the day.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF. toughkennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening on a Friday. I've got a special guest on the telephone line today. I have Julie Lithcott-Hames, the author of How to Raise an Adult. It's a very fun title, but this is why it's called that. Instead of raising a child, then they're continuing to be a child. This book will give you ideas on how to raise a child that when you're done, they're an adult. And that's a really cool idea. Julie, I'll tell you, looking here, I see that you were the former Stanford University Dean of Freshmen, and you've got a lot of great things in your background that certainly make you more than capable of writing this book. But what was your inspiration for writing this particular book, How to Raise an Adult?
Well, John, it was a couple things. As you said, I worked at Stanford. I was Dean of Freshmen there for a decade from 2002 to 2012. And over the course of my 10 years, I saw more and more parents who came to the university and didn't leave. They were literally or virtually involved, in the life of the campus, wanting to ask questions and make choices and advocate for their sons or daughters and kind of handle the transactional nature of college life for their students. As more and more parents were doing this, fewer and fewer college students seemed to have the capacity to be adults. And to be honest, I don't even know that I knew what I meant by that when I first observed it. Something just seemed a little off. They seemed quite content to have life kind of planned and scheduled and resolved for them. At the same time that I was seeing this on my campus with my students, I was raising 2 kids of my own. And the aha moment for me came in 2009 when I had just come home from a dinner where I told parents of new college freshmen to trust their kids, trust the university, back off, go home. I came home the next day to dinner at my own house and realized I was still cutting my kids' meat. They were 8 and 10 years old. And I realized, oh, my gosh, I'm in danger of being one of those parents who can't let go at 18. When do you let them cut their own meat? When do you let them cross the street? When do you let them talk to strangers? I realized it was my job as a parent to know the answer to those questions and to put opportunities for that growth and development in my kids' way.
That's cool. And I like in here you talk about how as a parent, your job is to put yourself out of a job. You're supposed to, at some point, have a child who, when they're an adult, they're not a child anymore. They can actually do these things on their own. So talk a little more about that, putting yourself out of a job as a parent.
Well, my background is law, but this is where I turn to biology for guidance. We're mammals, and as I like to say, we might be mammals with clothing and a cell phone, driving a carpool, but we're still mammals, and we got to know, for the survival of our species, we've got to know that our kids will be grown-ups one day who can successfully raise their own kids. That's how we got this far. So taking that long view, our job is to always be loving and, be proud of them and believe in them, but we've got to know they have the skill sets, the mindsets, the capabilities to get out there in the world, run their own lives, earn a living, fall in love, maybe have some kids of their own.
Again, visiting this morning with author Julie Lithcott-Hames, and she is the author of the book, How to Raise an Adult. I like in here where you talk about opportunities to put independence in your kid's path. Let's talk about some simple ways that parents can do that.
Well, at every age and stage, there are skills that they ought to be developing, whether it's learning to cross the street, making a meal, or pumping gas. We've got to remember that we want them at 18, 20, to have those skills. What do we need to do in childhood today? So, take making a meal. Even very little kids can help with meal prep. They can get the ingredients out from the refrigerator. Maybe they can use the toaster or the toaster oven. As they get older, we can trust them with the stove. We need to invite them into the work of life instead of acting as their concierge or their assistant who handles everything for them.
Again, the book is called How to Raise an Adult, and I think this will be a very valuable book for folks out there with kids. Now, is it too late for me? I've got a son that's 18, a daughter that's going to be a freshman in high school. Is it too late?
For those of us with older kids, time is short. Adulthood is looming, and we want our kids to thrive and be capable. For people with younger kids, you got plenty of time to really think this through, band together with other parents who are like-minded, and really push the parenting pendulum back toward raising adults.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us this morning. Where can we find a copy of the book, How to Raise an Adult?
Thanks for asking. The website is howtoraiseanadult.com. You can buy the book, watch a book trailer, share your stories about how you've overcome over-parenting. Just join a community of people who are ready to do this. So that's how you can find me, howtoraiseanadult.com, and our social media links are on there as well.
All right, we're going to send them there. Thank you so much. You have a great morning.
You too, John. Thanks so much.
And if you would like to win your very own copy of the book, we've got it available right now at winthisonline.com. And when you go there, there's links to buy the book, too. So if nothing else, go on and try your luck, see if you can win it. And if you don't win, you can always click the link and buy the book as well. Again, that's winthisonline.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
This is kind of cool. Garfield the Cat Day. When I was a kid, I used to read the Garfield the Cat comic strip all the time, or comic strip. I used to think that was awesome. Did you ever read that? Garfield?
Yeah, I didn't really read the comics much.
I thought Odie was cool. It's also Juneteenth today, whatever that means. National Flip-Flop Day. Ugliest Dog Day. I think we had a dog at one point that would have probably fit in that category. Work at Home Father's Day. World Sickle Cell Day, and World Sauntering Day. Sauntering, isn't that walking in an interesting way?
Walking enticingly.
Yeah, so saunter on over to that ugly dog while you read your Garfield comic strip and flip-flop, I guess. I don't know, I'm trying to figure out there's no way to incorporate all those. Hey, this weekend is the actual Father's Day on Sunday, so if I don't see you before then, folks, happy Father's Day to you. This is your very special day, the 19th day of June.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Red light, green light. How much would you pay for a device that you could push a button and it would make you change the light before you get to it? Wouldn't it be awesome?
That would be cool, but...
Well, would you buy one if they had one? Wouldn't it be great?
You would. You get so mad if you get to a red light. You're just irate. It's ridiculous.
There's some that are just way too long. I'm like, why? There's no traffic. Please let me go. Wouldn't it be great if you could push that button and they would just go green? Well, there's a couple of scam artists in Miami that were hoping that you might fall for that, but their devices don't really exist. They called them Go Boxes, and they promised that they would change red lights green with the push of a remote control button. But there was no Go in the Go Box. People sent in checks to buy these things, often got instructions on how to build your own Go Box, which turned out to be nothing more than a flashing strobe light. Others got nothing at all.
Smart buttons.
Yeah, pretty much. That was easy. The Go Boxes were advertised online. Guess how much people were paying for these darn things?
How much?
First of all, how much do you think I would pay for one? If there was one out there, a box that I could push and turn my lights green.
I think you would pay $60 for one.
All right, then I appreciate that vote of confidence. I probably would pay somewhere on it. But people were really buying them for as much as $200.
No way.
Yeah, buying a fake little box.
Big of a hurry. They can't sit through a red light.
I have an idea. We've been saying we should come up with an app. We should come up with the John and Heidi On the Go app. You push the button, it'll make the lights turn green.
Well, it's not.
You don't want to do that?
No.
They don't exist.
I have a feeling these people are going to get sued.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Yeah. So for those of you who are out there waiting for your Go Box, I'm really sorry if we just spoiled the surprise. You got one for Dad for Father's Day. What's this? Apparently nothing. Apparently it's a flashing light. Cost me $200 though, so you better appreciate it. All right, coming up, $900 worth of damage from a single penny. Oh, man, I'd be mad. That's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Could a penny cause $900 worth of damage to one single car? Yeah. Police in Salt Lake City say a teenager accused of a misdemeanor criminal mischief charge allegedly caused $900 of damage to a car by throwing a penny. Investigators say the 18-year-old threw a penny at a car to get the attention of the occupant. This happened on March 5th. However, the teen missed his mark, and it struck the roof of another car, a BMW, resulting in $932.37 worth of damage. Yes. How hard did he throw this penny?
Well, you're talking to BMW. If you take it into a dealership,
well, I understand it. It's probably got to be repainted, the whole roof or whatever. But yeah,
he's probably had a little ding in it, so they'll have to remove that.
He must have chucked that penny pretty good.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of damage. Anyway, that happened in March, and still working on getting that all fixed up. Coming up, we're going to talk about loaning out your iPad or your iPhone. Is it a good idea? Well, we'll tell you all about that on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club.
You can get razors every month for just $1. And for $2 more, they'll bring them right to your door. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more.
That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
If you've ever had kids or family or friends that want to borrow your iPad or your iPhone, there's an important trick that will help you from keeping them from exploring the rest of the phone. I've seen this happen before where somebody's playing a game, and then the next thing you know, they're no longer playing the game, but they're scrolling through your pictures and checking stuff out. And you're like, I thought you were playing a game. Can I have my phone back now?
Yeah.
But they say there's a way to allow them for just that one specific game. It's in the settings category as a guided access feature. It keeps the phone in a single app, allowing them to only play that game but not explore any other apps or files or photos on your Apple device. So this apparently is something through your iPad or your iPhone. We don't have those. We have Androids, so right. I don't know if ours has that or not, but if you have the other kind, I guess you can set some sort of setting and make it so they can't
I don't have anything to hide on my phone anyway. I know a lot of people whose phones are locked. And
I don't either.
Mine's not. I'm like, you know,
go ahead
if you
and
want to see something on there, go ahead. That's
if there's something on there that I shouldn't have on there, shame on me for having it on there.
The stuff on my phone is awesome.
Yeah, we'll say that. Coming up, 365 nights outside. We'll tell you all about that on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Here's your feel-good story for the day. Minnesota winters are brutal, even if you have a warm house and a cozy bed while you're away in the cold nights. But what is remarkable is that a 17-year-old Boy Scout from the Duluth area voluntarily slept outside for 365 nights straight.
What?
Perched most often 7 feet up in a tree near his parents' house. Rudy Hummel survived 76 sub-zero nights and multiple snowstorms. You know why he was doing it? To raise money. He raised about $6,000 for Western Lake Superior Habitat for Humanity.
He only raised $6,000.
And the Hawk, I was thinking the same thing, and the Hawk Ridge Bird Observatory. When not at home, Hummel would pitch a tent or crash on a hotel's deck. He slept outside in 13 different places to raise that money.
How old is this person?
He's 17. He slept outside for a full year to raise $6,000. I think somebody should chip in a little more money because that just really doesn't seem like enough. Like I'd do that for a week for $6,000.
And in the winter in
Cold,
Minnesota?
Yeah, in Duluth, which is way up there. So.
And where are this person's parents?
I don't know. They encouraged it.
Maybe he is homeless, and that's why nobody gave him as much, because he was sleeping out there anyway.
I'm going to sleep outside for a whole year. Really? What do you do now? I sleep outside. All right. What a brilliant thing to do if you were homeless. I mean, because it's for the Habitat.
You're doing it for a cause.
Well, it's for the Habitat for Humanity, so that's cool, and for a bird observatory. So if you were homeless anyway, and you're like, I'm going to raise money for these people building homes, and I'm watching birds anyway, I might as well raise some dough for those guys.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. It doesn't say that he wasn't homeless, but at least he was for 365 days.
My 17-year-old, when Troy was 17, can you imagine him coming and saying, I'm going to sleep outside all year? I would have been like, no, you're not.
Don't think so. Not going to happen. Hey, coming up, we're going to talk about actual errors on the SATs. These are hilarious. That's coming your way in a bit on the John and Heidi Show.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF, toughkennels.com.
Here are some common factual errors cited in this year's SAT exam. The SATs are back. Any of these answers give us a glimpse of their future leaders, by the way. Some big trouble if some of these people ever get in office or anything. It says, in course of life, the typical person eats his own weight in, and the answer they put was Slim Jims. No, not Slim Jims. Ronald Reagan once sent warships to invade what area? They guessed North Dakota? Yeah, warships went to North Dakota. Are you serious?
Wow.
The Spanish Armada was defeated by Queen Latifah. No, she did not defeat the Spanish Armada. Dogs were invented in 1963.
Invented?
Yeah.
They were invented.
No, there wasn't dogs that were invented in 1963. The turning point of World War II was, they answered, that part where Tom Hanks found Matt Damon. No. Neither of those two were in World War II.
Oh,
this is kind of scary. It's funny because, you know, if you don't know the answer, it is good to put something.
Yeah,
maybe not
make the person grading the papers laugh.
Yeah. Prior to the invention of the airplane, people flew around by flapping their arms. No, they didn't. They flew around either by zeppelins or hot air balloons, but not by flapping their arms. Neil Armstrong's first words on the moon were, Visa, it's everywhere you want it to be. No.
That is awesome.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And Thomas Jefferson was who? Somebody put, that funny African-American guy that was married to Wheezy. No. He was your third president.
That was George Jefferson.
He was also your second vice president. He invented the swivel chair. He's a very brilliant man.
I'm surprised somebody today taking that test would even know the Jeffersons.
Yeah, I don't know. Funny stuff. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. By the way, those were actual answers on this year's SAT exams, and we are in big trouble for our future. So get out there and enjoy the weekend while you can. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Go online and check out all the cool stuff they have at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. We talked about all this stuff. Okay. Oh, hey, we've got a couple of silly stories or things from the National Highway Safety Commission, the top 10 deadliest days of the year to drive, top 5 deadliest months to drive. Which one of these things would you rather do, stories or that stuff?
Stories. Those other things sound boring. Sorry.
Do you have something to share over there?
No.
Wow. I can't even imagine you poking holes at the things I'm doing, but I've got nothing to contribute of my own. Tortoises in Turkey are being given round-the-clock police protection against motorists. The creatures are being killed as they cross the road to reach a lake. There are warning signs to motorists, but that doesn't really seem to help. So now the police force is there to guard the tortoises. Why don't they put in tortoise tunnels or something?
Like the turtles would know where to go.
Put up a fence. I've never seen a tortoise climb a fence.
But then they couldn't get to the lake.
Well, they put a tunnel underneath. They go through the tunnel under the road. I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't know. How about this? Are you on a sugar high right now? If you are, that makes you an average American. The average American stays on a sugar high, eating the equivalent of 31 teaspoons of sugar every day. In addition to the obvious sugar in sodas, a 12-ounce can has 10 teaspoons right there.
Whoa.
Desserts and candy bars, sugar is a common ingredient in processed foods from pizza to crackers. So it's all over the place. So 31 teaspoons of sugar every day. What's bigger, a teaspoon or a tablespoon?
A tablespoon is bigger.
Tablespoon.
Yes.
I always get those two mixed up. I one time was making baking. This is in high school in home ec class. I was terrible in that class.
Oh, I loved
We
home
had
ec.
to sew things, and when I had to sew, we had to sew a bag. I remember making this bag. It was awful. I think I got a B on it because the lady was really nice. I took it home that day. I threw some books in it on my way out. The bottom ripped out on the way to the car. I was like, yeah, I should not have gotten a B on this thing. Anyway, in that class, we were making baking soda biscuits, or is it baking powder biscuits?
I've never made them. So.
Well, it was biscuits made with either baking soda or baking powder, and we used the wrong one. And instead of teaspoons, we used tablespoons. And she had to try these things to grade them. The look on her face was worth the D, I'm telling you right now. All right, one last story here. A Sheffield police officer who turned up for work with a hairstyle of a rapper, Eminem, was sent home and not allowed to report for duty. The officer was one of the 3 English officers who bleached their hair for a party. The other 2 agreed to change their hair color. Spokesperson for the department quoted Superintendent Richard Wilson saying he thought the officers' platinum blonde Eminem-style haircuts were not appropriate for the corporate image they wish for the police to portray. The police officer was back on duty after having his hair cut very short, and then he was okay. So they said, not a good look for you. You can't have that. Heidi once went with the Eminem hairstyle as well, which is amazing.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
No, you didn't really. So you don't want to talk about this national highway safety thing?
No.
I'm going to do this as a bonus for the bonus. Otherwise, just look at this file over here. Look how fat that thing's getting. All this stuff.
Okay. I'm sure there are people on the edge of their seats waiting for this information.
If they don't like it, click the button and turn it off. You can leave, too, if you want. I'm going to share it.
Can I?
Go ahead. You want to grab some coffee for me while you're out there? The top 10 deadliest days of the year to drive. You know what the number 1 deadliest day of the year is?
New Year's Eve.
No, the 4th of July.
Oh.
People are getting in crashes, I suppose. They're going out to barbecues and picnics and stuff and drinking too much and then getting in wrecks. You know what the second deadliest day is?
New Year's Eve.
The 3rd of July. Third deadliest is December 23rd.
The 3rd of July. Why, I wonder?
I don't know. Probably people partying and drinking and going to parties. And then a random array of days that don't make any sense to me, like December 23rd. I don't understand why that day. Maybe they're driving somewhere. How about this one then? Explain this one to me, smarty pants. August 3rd. What? That's the 4th most deadliest day? Then January 1st is number 5, so New Year's Day. I can see that.
I believe August 3rd is Drive Blindfolded Day, so that would make sense.
Oh, that's what it is. We celebrate that every year. It's Drive Blindfolded while using your feet on the steering wheel day. And that is why people keep dying. No, that's not really a day, and please don't do that. August 6th and August 4th are the next 2, so something that first week in August. I don't know what it is. August 12th.
People going on it's August. People
August
are vacationing before school.
August 12th is in there, then July 2nd, then September 2nd. Blew my mind.
New Year's Eve isn't on there at all.
New Year's Day is January 1st. I suppose they already got to the party. It's when they're leaving the party. So, and the top 5 deadliest months to drive. If I hadn't just told you all those days in a row, you would have never guessed. August is the deadliest month. Then October, then July, then November, then September. Deadliest days of the week to drive. This does not surprise me at all. In the order is exactly the way I would have guessed. Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. Then there's a little snafu here. Then Monday, then Tuesday, and then Sunday.
Yeah.
Least deadly day to drive is Sunday. Deadliest time of the day to drive. 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. is the deadliest time to drive. Isn't that amazing? 3 to 6 p.m. 6 to 9 p.m. is the second deadliest. 9 to midnight, third deadliest. Noon to 3, that's a bigger span, isn't it? No, probably not. And then midnight to 3 a.m. is the 5th deadliest time to drive. you'll notice that the morning drive time when we're on the radio, nobody's dying because they're all dying laughing.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. We probably should have ended before, shouldn't we?
We probably should have, yeah.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks again for listening.